Let's get it started in here. Hello ladies and gents, brew.com here, and me Arne is usually at the mic, bringing you an extended deck tag for my weird brew Abzan Drain Marsh, comprised of Marshall Team Company and then Elves and Allies Drain packages. So I did record a deck tag before, but I've worked a lot on this deck. I've tested it quite a bit. I've played at the local open, which had 7 rounds of Swiss, so collected experience from that, and today I tweaked the deck multiple times and started a lot of the winning deck list, so I think I will get you covered with regard to any deck that would be similar to this and what you should be doing. So you see the deck list on the screen and you see the maybe board. I'll talk about the options at the beginning, because later I'll go into the details with a more comprehensive picture of the main deck and the sideboard, and also today I'll bring you few pictures for the sideboarding guide against control decks, so Grixis or Black-White, against a range of rights decks, and against Green-White tokens. Oh yeah, and against bans as well, I believe so. So let's begin. So yeah, let's start from the maybe board. There are a bunch of things you can do. So overview the deck list more or less right now, so that you get the general idea. Just to remind you, this deck functions as the other rights deck, except that you don't run the Cripple F5, you have Galactic Company, and for extra powers, extra like capabilities, you run a couple Marsh from the Tomb to bring back some allies, and yeah, you don't have rights, but you do have play sets of trappers and 7s to ramp you up. Just put the board, and then you win by just using Cutthroat, and or draining them out with the Shaman, or draining them out with the healer triggers and a bunch of other allies, of which there are quite a few. So you have Drone as an ally, 7th ally, other healers ally, Sideboard, Cutthroat ally, Advocates ally, and of course like the Shaman, and then you can bring back some stuff like with Liliana as well. Difference from the previous times, I'm now running 22 lands. 20 was too few, simply because while this maybe was enough for the Giant build from the last season, where you were just an aggro deck, and instead of Beast Caller sometimes the deck would run Leaf Gilder, so you could ramp into company much easier and things like that, and you were just a beat down deck with a playset of archers as well, the other 1-drop elf, and then you had the Tarkus command, so you could actually like win pretty quickly, and combat was your way of winning most of the time. But here it's not as easy because of the tap lands, because of the man lands you want more lands, because of Marsh you want more lands, because you're more about grinding and just doing a bunch of funky stuff every turn, so you need all those lands. So I upped it up to 22, and put in another Vance, basically put in another forest, and then yeah, previously I've mentioned that you want 1 green-white land, and yeah, like there is almost no difference between Vista and the uncommon green-white tap land, but Vista like sometimes, occasionally, once in a century will come untapped, so that will be cool. But if you don't have it, you shouldn't feel too bad by just putting the uncommon one in that slot, and if you're missing some Shambling Vans, putting in like 1 uncommon black-white tap land is also not the end of the world. But yeah, this is how you want it to be. I have the deck on paper. I'm still waiting to get a few more cards for this exact list. But yeah, your sideboard is really cool, and honorable mentions for the sideboards are cards like Clipwings. My problem with it is that it's primarily for Remendal or Sunflowers or for Abzan, but you would much rather have something more flexible. It's not like there are a huge amount of flyers out there. If Esper Dragons would be a more popular deck right now, this and next week, then probably I would play Clipwing somewhere in the sideboard. Visionary just, again, like, once again didn't make the cut. I need as many elves and allies, and Visionary is great. It's an elf, it's a great 2-drop, it pro draws you, but I need play sets of like all the key 2-drops, and Visionary is just like filler. It's great, but like I don't have a husk, I don't have rights and things like that. I don't run Abbey, although Westwale Abbey is an option for this deck. Then so this is mostly about sideboard options. My Sacker didn't make the cut, as didn't make the cut also like the Minister Pain. Both are interesting, but right now they're not killing that many things, and sometimes like you just don't care about it. But in like some weird local meta game, like you would want to have in mind those cards. Marauder and Winnower are interesting. They help against control matchups because they kill their key creature, and this is also a threat. It's a creature to come of company. If you happen to actually keep those in, normally in control matchups I side out companies because I bring in too many spells. Winnower kills Chase Kalitas. What else? Dragonlord, Silumgar. Occasionally Ojutai, but that's gonna be rare nowadays. But yeah, it's okay. It kills a bunch of 2/3s, advocates, reflector mages, and things like that. But at 5 mana, it just didn't make the cut. But it's an option. Maybe I'll return back on it. It's on my short list. Some rather, you know, I just told you, it's about decks where they just play very few threats, and you just get them by playing Marauder. Kalitas is good in the mirror match, good in grinding games, but mainly it's for mirror matches, mainly for right stacks. So if you have it, put it into your sideboard. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world, but be prepared to fight it. Languish is another kind of card for mirror matches where both players just spam the board, and sometimes you can kind of set it up for it. Third March is an option, but I like today cut it from the sideboard because I don't know, sometimes it's hard to set up one, and having 3 copies per sideboard sometimes too clunky. I have way more cool cards for the sideboard, way more flexible, and I can kind of set up the Marsh because now I run Transgress and Juris in the sideboard, so I can lead to a Marsh, I can resolve it and stuff like this. So what I've seen from other rights deck is options like Reality Smasher and Fortnite router the sideboard. So also those are options for this deck because you have Caves and Waste, which they're painlands, so they give you colorless mana. So you could run those in the sideboard if you really want to. You can try to slice in some Abbeys into the deck, but don't play more than 1 or 2 because you're a 3-color deck, so be aware of that. Wild Redeemer is a cool card, but because we have access to white, I thought that a couple of interludes is enough, and it has great synergy with the deck. But Wild Redeemer is definitely an option. Running some archers is a thing. You can go more on elves, so then you would play 4 of these. You could maybe just play a couple like I did for the most time with this deck. And that's about it as for options. So let's have a look closer at the actual deck. So we go to the spoiler view, and so this is our creature base, and 32 creatures, which is quite a lot, and everything can be hit by company. Nissa is a filler here. I just wanted an elf that does something, and Nissa helps you to get up to company or marsh. But a lot of the time I'm siding her out in a lot of matchups because she's fine, but like I only keep her against control, where you don't want to stumble and you want to hit your lands, and if she ever flips into a planeswalker, you're gonna be very happy. But yeah, bunch of 2-drops and 3-drops. I had archers previously, but I cut them because while I was pretty happy winning some games at the big event previous weekend, I played with the deck where I had a bunch of 1-drops and then followed up with more 2-drops, especially with Beast Caller. You can just dump your whole hand very quickly, but I don't know, I feel like you want more synergy, more grind fast, and archery was not like a mana dork like Trapper, which also allows you to actually attack with some small elves into big creatures. So upping up 7s and advocates up to 4 because they're elves, they're allies, they're like really good late game with 8 manlands in the deck, etc. 22 lands, 8 main lands. The mana base is quite okay. You have 3 forests for Nissa, so you could maybe select Slice in another Nissa if you really want to, but you don't have to. Yeah, company, marsh, and then we go to the sideboard. I've been changing it a lot today, but this is what I arrived at. Couple of unmakings, couple interludes, couple grasp, couple prices, 2 duress, 2 transgress, 2 lips, and the Viridian Plague. So I've tried Minister, I've tried Ablat Massacre, didn't like them, they don't kill enough creatures. 3 or 4 is the best number, and Languish would be much better in the sideboard, but Minister, Ablat just don't help enough. Yeah, and there could be sometimes interesting spots with Minister against other right stacks. Against a bunch of 2/3s where you can attack with your 2/3s, and then they would be like, what the hell is going on, and they would just block, and you would just play Minister, eat some elf token or a trapper or whatever, and all of a sudden it's a blowout. But those cases are rare, and I would much rather have a smooth, flexible sideboard. This is why I arrived at this configuration. And Plague was just late discovery. I didn't realize that it was still there. I didn't realize that I still had a copy. I didn't realize that it was actually good for my sideboard against a bunch of different decks. I don't produce that many tokens. It's just like Liliana and the Ally. That's pretty much it. So it's not hurting me that much, and it can hurt a lot of decks, like green-white tokens and mirror matches as well. Lip and discard and removal is just the direction, the approach you do, you make against control decks. You take out companies, you take out some mediocre creatures, and you bring in removals and tricks and discard and etc. And yeah, I've previously mentioned that in the previous deck tag that I didn't like this card. I just wanted more action, more removal, more answers, or just threats. But yeah, it grew over me, so now I'm in the camp with everybody else, I guess, and running these cards as well. But I have this split because I like both against Black, White, and Grixis. But the thing is that I kinda like Duress way more against Green, White than Transgress, because it hits everything that really matters, and at the same time it hits all those declaration and stone and even secure the waste and things like this. So it actually hits more than transgress, especially at this sideboard, even despite them bringing in extra copies of like outburst or tragic arrogance. Yeah, you want removal, you want to kill Kalitas, but you also at the same time need answers to like planeswalkers, and also some answers to Ormindel. Couple unmakings is just catch all. And why I play Grasp Enterprise is because against some decks, like for example against other rights decks, after sideboard they could transition into this Eldrazi kind of beatdown formula with advocates and Thought-Knot-Seers and smashers. So price is actually bad, but well, more on that soon. So now let's go to the sideboarding. So this is how you board, I believe, against other rights decks. Yeah. So you take out couple companies, you take out elites, and you take out Nissa, and you bring in a couple grasps, couple unmakings, couple transgress. But this is the plan in the dark. If you think that they would do what you think they would do, is that trim the combo and put in those smashers and the rest of the squad. So your price is actually bad, but you would have transgress and unmaking, and transgress can grasp and unmaking, and transgress can help you get out those Thought-Knot-Seers and smashers. If you think that they would actually, if you would, let's say, imagine you win game 1, which is not that hard as long as they don't combo off very quickly with the brood monitor and stuff. And then you see in and your sideboard is like this, and then in game 2 you see that they didn't take out much of the combo, so they still have a lot of those pieces, and you happen to lose. So for game 3 you could actually cut those 2 remaining companies for a couple ultimate prices to interact with the combo. So in response to something that can give them combo, whether it's like collected company or just the missing part, you would just kill you would just kill Zulaport Cutthroat, basically. I believe Brood Monitor is also colorless, so is Displacer, so it's pretty tricky. I think price is actually okay as a 2-off to set in if you see them having still a lot of stuff in game 2. But bear in mind that like while with price you can kill advocates and some creatures, but you can't kill reflector mates, etc. So having grasp in your sideboard or cards that can kill like medium Eldrazi's and some of those multicolored creatures is actually pretty important, I feel like. Right. Against Bant it's very simple. You just take out Anissa and you could bring in some random card. I actually took out this third Marsh from the sideboard, but I guess you can bring in some tricky cards out of the sideboard. You don't really need to set in removal against Banned Company. Yeah, your game 1 plan is okay against them. So this is what you do against Grixis control or Black-White control. You take out companies, you take out a bunch of creatures, some Unwitched Trappers, couple of Tranacelites, and 1 Shaman. The logic behind is that you bring in a lot of spells, so your Coco would be bad. Trapper is not doing a whole lot in this matchup with a lot of sweepers and removals, so you take out those. Then that means that Elite is gonna be much worse, so you take out those. Once you take out Elites, you can take out a Shaman or 2 because they're gonna like impact way less. Andrana is nice, it's ally, it's a flyer, but it would just like die very quickly, and the problem with it is that you won't often have a board presence. You would fight for it, but a lot of the time like they would just sweep your board and things like that. So it's really bad to keep in a creature that doesn't really give you value, or and just doesn't synergize with everything like that much. And then you bring in a lot of removal for Kalitas and other threats they got. You bring in Duresses and Transgress for their answers. You bring in Lip because you need some engine as a replacement for Company, and you bring in Interlude as an answer for Radiant Flames and Languishes. So let's bring you the sideboarding guide with Abzan Train March against green-white tokens. So there it is. In this matchup you need a lot of interaction and a lot of disruption, and that comes at a cost of removing Nissa and all the companies, and then you have to cut some creatures, unfortunately. Among the cards that are left, those are Allied and the Shamans, so you keep one in just because it's still okay. There is maybe an argument for actually keeping a Nissa instead of one Shaman. I suppose that's fine, so that's probably okay. But you bring in a lot of removal. You need Duras to just discard a bunch of things, Declaration, Tragic Arrogance, and so on. You want Prized Grasp and Unmaking to keep their offense in check. You Plague to fizzle them as well. It actually works very well against them. And then Leap replaces the Company engine, and also it's a great thing to have against their leaps, against their Declarations and Tragic Arrogance as well. So there is that. So thank you guys, don't forget to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the links in the description, check out the website, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.